Hi everyone, it's Lee here and welcome to this week's coaching video. Now in this video I want to take a look at Viktor E. Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. It's an excellent read. It's got quite a lot of harrowing stories from his time in Auschwitz in the Nazi concentration camps. Now, I don't want to do a book review, but if you're interested in the book, you can either pick it up or go and check out some reviews on YouTube or anywhere else on the web that you get your book reviews from. But what I want to do in this video is have a look at some of the findings, especially towards the end of the book and around the concepts in logotherapy. So some really great findings in here, and I think they can be a really good help for you in changing the direction of your life, improving yourself, and especially for solopreneurs or solo practitioners looking to take that next step or add a depth of meaning and purpose into your life. So let's take a look at some of the slides I've got prepared to go through some of the points. Okay, so the first slide is around meaning. And in this book, especially towards the end, three areas were uncovered. The first was around finding meaning through creativity. And in today's day and age, this would be around your hobbies or creativity in your work that you do, in your career, and also in any art that you might create. And this can be seen in different ways for many different people. So it could be creating art as in paintings, but also perhaps music, software, graphics, creating a nice garden. All these things are artistic in some way. So have a think about your hobbies and your work and your career and how you find meaning through creating in there. The second point is around finding meaning through experience, experiencing people and places and cultures and that kind of thing. And it's about getting to know people deeply and intimately, such as through love with your partner and that kind of thing. The third area was around suffering, which was quite interesting. And as you can imagine, the whole book is really quite heavy on suffering, as you can imagine in the Nazi concentration camps. But through that suffering in today's day and age, how does that look? And in fact, I think we actually go and seek suffering sometimes as well, whether that be by going camping or participating in sport and pushing ourselves to the limits in different ways. I think we find reward and purpose through that suffering sometimes. So some interesting ideas and interesting themes here to explore. And they all roll up as lessons and they make us grow, don't they? So let's, before we move on to the next slide, there's just a couple of extra themes there that came through around meaning, and that's around taking responsibility and the idea of choice and being empowered to make choice as well. So keep those in mind as we move to the next slide. So we just want to have a quick look at purpose. So you can come back to these dot points. In fact, I'll have these slides available for download on a post on the website, so find that link below. But let's just take a quick look now at purpose and your purpose. So what do you like doing? What are you good at? So have a think about your career and your work and your hobbies. And that should give you some indication there on those two questions. For people that might be struggling with those, have a think about what resources you have available right at your fingertips that you may not be quite aware of or haven't considered in the past. So this could be family members or friends who have a business or have resources or have land. And what are they doing? And how could you use that or tap into that to create, to find meaning and purpose? So some interesting ideas there. What opportunities are right in front of you? So with these people or your neighborhood what's going on? What's going on around you? Increase your awareness with the people and their objectives. And how can you tap into that, help, or combine what you're good at and what you like doing to find meaning and purpose? So some interesting ideas there. What problems could you solve? And what hidden opportunities are there close by or online? It's up to you to go looking for them. But combining all these things together, looking at the problems to be solved, perhaps there's a great opportunity for you to find meaning and purpose, and it's all within grasp, all within reach. What difference could you make? What difference could you make working together? Now these questions are pretty big and they're not going to be answered all within this one sitting, but I think they are good to get us thinking about our purpose and finding meaning in our life. So what do you want to be known for? What legacy do you want to leave? And how do you want to spend your day? So there's a few views here. There's big views, big lifelong views, and also quite narrow views and how you want to spend your day, what activities you want to be doing on a day-by-day basis that add purpose and meaning to your life. Now then, with all of that in mind, let's take a look at this next slide around finding that meaning and purpose. So we sort of had a look at the ingredients and the space available. Now there's a great quote from this book that really stood out, and this is, "Live as if you were living already for the second time, and as if you had acted the first time as wrongly as you were about to act now." Now I had to read this 3 or 4 times to get my head around it. But basically what it's saying is, imagine living your life for the second time around, and you've got the knowledge that you're about to mess up or make a mistake. What choice would you make? Would you do the same thing, or would you choose differently? So I'll give you some time to have a think about that one. But I think that's a really great quote and very empowering. So I've come up with 4 ways to look at finding the meaning and purpose as easily and as quickly as we can. So the 4 ways. So appreciating what's right in front of us. So sometimes we forget what we've got, what's right in front of us, and what we're grateful for. And this certainly hits home as you start reading through some of the stories in this book, and what they went without, what they didn't have, and what they were grateful for. So a really amazing read. It really makes you appreciate the small things in life that you just would never take a moment to think about. So appreciating what's right in front of us. So this could be relationships, could be the tools and resources, the money, the place we live, the people around us, the economy, your country, whatever it may be. The next way there is around making an internal shift and assigning meaning differently. So later on we'll talk about values and beliefs and that kind of thing, but there's an opportunity here to make an internal shift and look at things differently. Appreciate people differently, cultures or social norms differently. Perhaps cultures and traditions, other workplaces, other ideas and beliefs. By assigning a different meaning onto our past, onto what our future might look like, all sorts of new possibilities can open up. And that's all by just making an internal shift. So very powerful stuff here. Again, remember, responsibility and choice. And the other 2 ways there are around making changes. So making small changes and getting quick wins, and making big changes and leaving a totally different legacy, a pivot point in your life. So what do the small changes look like for you? Could that be changing jobs or moving house, getting more time back in your life for family, friends, hobbies, working in the community, creating a new online project or website or something? And what about the big changes? What are the big shifts that you're going to have to make to find meaning and purpose? Could it be starting your own business, growing your business, growing the business you work for, starting a family business, going on a holiday together, writing a book? All these things, they take time. Big changes, new beliefs, changing your values, personal development, education on new ideas, new topics, emerging themes, the environment, global warming, electric cars, new ways of doing things, new economies, big ideas and big changes. How can you be a part of that and find the meaning and purpose that you're been looking for? So before I mentioned choice and responsibility, and I think these are really the themes that enable these things to happen, making these new changes and finding the meaning and purpose that you're looking for. Now I've got a picture here of, I think it's Morpheus from The Matrix with the red pill and the blue pill. So there are decisions to make, there are choices to make, and these all impact the path and trajectory we take. So what are you going to do? Are you going to bury your head in the sand? Are your actions and behaviours for personal gratification or personal accomplishment? And what's the difference? And what's the right balance for you? Life experience versus Groundhog Day. Are you going to be doing the same thing day in, day out and not growing? Not having any meaning or purpose in your life? Or can you add experience to your life and variation to learn and grow and have that meaning day in, day out? Perhaps just with the little things. Some little things we take for granted perhaps. Perhaps our relationships or the work that we're actually currently doing. Perhaps you already have a life of great meaning and great purpose and you just don't know it or just don't appreciate it. So hopefully these questions and these themes here can bring some of this out for you, and a great opportunity to take notes and journal about this and follow up with more work on it as well. And what about security and risk? What's the right balance for you? Have you been too safe and secure and in that comfort of safety? And is it time to take some risks and explore and live and find that meaning and purpose? And what about your mindset? Is it in a growth phase, a growth mindset, where you're looking for those new things, taking a risk, building something, testing, experimenting? Or do you succumb to a fear-based mindset, scared to take a chance, scared of losing something, despite the opposite of growing and gaining something? And what about opportunity cost? What have you got to lose? And what's that mean? And lastly there, a reality check around managing risk without cognitive distortion. Now we can talk about that later, but that's really around the mind's bias and irrational beliefs. And perhaps you can do a bit of a reality check yourself on where you might stand with some of these things, some of your beliefs and values and your choices and responsibilities, and what biases or distorted ways of thinking might be influencing the decisions and paths that you're taking. Okay, I'll leave it there. We'll move to the next slide. And this is around your path to finding meaning and purpose. So I've covered lots of ideas and themes here. So we've got 4 ways to have a look at this here. And this is around, the first one is around taking that big picture view. What's the current state of play? Where are you at currently in life? And what's your past look like as well? Because they're all experiences that all mean something. What careers have you had? What work have you done? And how have they influenced your life to add meaning and build that legacy? What hobbies and artistic things do you do on a daily basis or on a longer scale? All these things add up to create meaning and purpose in your life. The next one there is around relationships. Your deep, close personal relationships, relationships with your family, community, and these days online relationships, as well as local and social relationships. What experiences do you have with them, and how well do you know them? And how well do they know you? There's meaning and purpose within those relationships. So look into them and look after them. Suffering, challenges, goals and dreams. Now, I don't know where you live, but depending where you are, there might be suffering going on in some way. Suffering just in existence. Or perhaps you're putting pressure on yourself with your own business or saving for a house or whatever suffering you're putting yourself through for a goal, to have a meaning, to have purpose. So have a think about those and have a think about it in a big picture view. The second one, as we covered before, is around mindset shifts and reframing the current meaning and purpose. So there's a real opportunity here to reframe a current meaning or a current purpose that's not serving you well. So this is all about digging further into your current values, your current beliefs, the achievements to date, and who you are as a person showing up today, and what parts of that can change. So we can change our values, we can change our beliefs, we can accomplish new achievements, and we can change our identity as well. And sometimes that takes a little bit of work and a little bit of time to change our identity and our character and who we are showing up as in the world. But it can happen. What are your current goals, dreams, relationships, and what challenges have you set for yourself? So shifting some mindset components there, setting some new goals, establishing bigger, bolder, brighter dreams. These can all shape up to add more meaning and more purpose in your life. What small changes can you make for greater meaning and purpose? As I mentioned before, would changing where you live have an impact? Would changing jobs? Would taking a new course online or learning something new have an impact? Perhaps it's something small, like saying hello to your neighbour or being involved in something locally, or spending more time in your hobbies and connecting online, creating new content. Who knows? It's up to you. But with current mindset shifts, there is a way for you to add more meaning and more purpose into your life and those around you. And what impact is that going to make on the world? And what about those bigger shifts for greater meaning and purpose? What's that really look like? Could that be moving countries? Changing careers completely? Now, I'm sure there's many stories that you've heard of people changing their careers and going complete 180 from working on Wall Street to supporting a tribe or something in the jungle in a completely different country, or going from corporate to working for the environment, or from being a singer or an artist and then into politics. So there's many stories out there that are like that, where people have changed their lives 180 degrees. So have a think about that. That does take some time, obviously, but there are perhaps some bigger shifts out there for you to find that meaning and purpose and leave that legacy that you really desire. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. Certainly raised lots of questions. It's a really big topic, a really deep topic. I'm sure we're not going to solve all the world's problems and find meaning and purpose just like that. But I think there will be at least one or two areas where you will have some small breakthroughs and actually add more meaning or discover that existing meaning that's been right in front of you. And with that new awareness, you can go on to enjoy and create bigger and better things. So there's the book there again by Viktor E. Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. This book says it's sold over 9 million copies, but I think it's sold a lot more than that. So yeah, check that out. There's obviously a lot more to it than what I've covered here. So yeah, there's definitely some good concepts there within logotherapy, and they can be applied to other therapeutic ways or other angles of personal development as well. So definitely read up on those if that you find that interesting, and I hope you find more meaning and more purpose in your life. So that's it for this week's video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Cheers.